Welcome to the Munro Review, where it's all about connecting, sharing, and valuing the arts in the central San Joaquin Valley. I'm Donald Munro. Today is March 1st, and we're going to be talking about the busy art scene in March. In just a few minutes, we're going to be chatting with Gina Sandi-Diaz and Ruby Arreguin of Fresno State. They'll be talking about the new play, Lydia. And we're going to be getting an update from Lupe Perez from the city of Fresno, who will be here to talk about the new colorful public art installation in downtown's Mariposa Plaza. But first, let's recap some of what I've been covering on MunroReview.com. One of February's major arts events was Trashic 2018, the glittery fashion fundraiser produced by the Fresno Art Museum. This year's event was held February 24th in a new location, a beautifully decorated aircraft hangar at the Fresno airport. For those who aren't familiar with Trashic, it's a wonderful show that was created by Fresno interior designer Roseanne Guaglione. Local artists create fanciful fashions out of recycled material. Each year, a slate of famous artists is selected to serve as inspiration for those creations. My favorite piece from this year's show was designed by Christine Doyle, who is a faculty member in Fresno State's Theater and Dance Department. She did it in tribute to mid-century designers Charles and Ray Eames. This power couple is best known for their contributions to mid-century American architecture, furniture design, and industrial design. Now just hear what Doyle used for her design. Plastic mattress packaging, milk containers, mesh vegetable bags, food packing boxes, magazine pages, leather and fabric upholstery swatches, rubber, rope, packing foam, and cardboard boxes. She fashioned a stunning dress boasting a cheerful grid of colors and textures, along with a wide brim hat that suggested a giant Eames wedding cake topper that came complete with full-size light bulbs. Now, I don't know why this cracked me up so much, but my favorite detail was that circular hat brim was cut out of a Costco packing box. Other tips on my favorites list included Ginger K. Lewis Reed's tribute to the painter Edward Hopper. The sheer green dress, floating belt, and out there headpiece made me think of the Jetsons meets a hula hoop. And local artists Patty Wilkinson and Carmen Hoyos offered a striking combination of designs in their tributes to Marcel Duchamp. You can read more of my impressions of the show and my feature interview with Wilkinson on MunroReview.com. Here's a fun update on children's musical theater works. The theater company has snagged none other than Laura Bell Bundy, who originated the role of Elle Woods in the Broadway production of Legally Blonde, the musical, to teach a master class and give a performance. Both are tied to the April CMT production of the title. It's quite a coup for CMT to land such a big name. Besides Legally Blonde on Broadway, Bundy starred in Hairspray and Wicked, and she was a regular on the TV series Heart of Dixie and Anger Management. CMT's Legally Blonde opens April 13th at Fresno's Veterans Memorial Auditorium. The special concert with Bundy will be April 8th. Now here's a fun news note about a talented local performer, Dominic Grijalva, whom you last saw on the Munro Review as director of Selma Arts Center's Spring Awakening. He's going to Washington, D.C. as a national finalist at the American College Theater Festival at the Kennedy Center. He represented the College of the Sequoias at the regional festival in February, and he won the highly competitive musical theater cabaret. Congratulations to Dom. There were a bunch of events I reviewed in February on the Munro Review, including Fresno State's Contemporary Dance Ensemble, Theater Von Two's King Lear, Nuevo Mariachi singer Omar Nare, and that Selma production of Spring Awakening, which was really strong, by the way. I invite you to go online and catch up on any of those reviews you missed. Now let's move on to our first guests, director Gina Sandi-Diaz and actor Ruby Arreguin of Fresno State, who are here to talk about the new production, Lydia. Welcome, Gina and Ruby.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Now, your show, Lydia, that opens in a couple weeks, so you're still kind of hard at work in rehearsals right now. Tell us a little bit about this title. It's a relatively new play, is that correct?
The play is from 2006.
Okay.
But it's going to be the premiere in Fresno, so the first time that it's produced here. It's the story of a Mexican-American family who mom and dad crossed the river and settled in El Paso to have a family. And now they have 3 kids who are in their teenage years, and a horrible accident has traumatized this family. And they have a disabled daughter who needs to be taken care of. And so they make the decision to hire a maid. And the person who shows up is Lydia. And she's an undocumented immigrant and develops a special bond with different members of the family. But their relationship actually comes to the point of revealing some secrets that were deeply buried in this family. And the secrets just unleash the rage of the family, and unfortunately they take their rage out on Lydia. And that is the story that we're telling.
So this sounds like a pretty intense play.
It is.
And you describe it really as a tragedy.
It is. It's it is full of tragic moments that this family has to deal with. And it really, what we're witnessing as audience members is how the family is, how each member of the family is trying to deal with the accident and the aftermath of that accident.
So Ruby, tell us a little about Lydia. What kind of person is she?
Yeah, her personality. She, I find her to be very bold and a free-spirited person, unapologetic. She, whereas in her role, I think she would make herself small or even invisible to the family, but she kind of just really inserts herself in the family.
She sounds like a pretty charismatic person if she's able to forge these bonds with the different members of the family.
Yeah, I think so. I think how Gina was saying, the story as far as themes and outcome, it's a tragic story, but it does have some like light-hearted moments where, not that Lydia is like a comedic like relief, but has like those interactions, just really simple, funny, lighthearted moments in it, and she kind of is a part of those moments as well. Those are the tragic ones.
So Gina, this is your first year at Fresno State. So first of all, welcome to Fresno and the Fresno arts scene. You were hired as a Latinx theater specialist. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that term and what you're going to be doing at Fresno State?
Absolutely. So the term Latinx is it's something that it's fairly recent. I would say in the last 6 years or so, there's been a push from academics, especially, but not just academics, but also artists and people who work in the cultural sector, to make our name a little bit more inclusive, because the Spanish language it's a gender language, and so when we speak about Latino, we're specifically referring to the male gender, and as a way to opening up to the big spectrum of different personalities and identities that we can find as human beings, we've adopted the term Latinx to be more inclusive, not just of male and female, but everything else in between as well.
And that is actually spelled Latinx. So Ruby, how did you feel when you learned that Fresno State was going to be hiring Gina, basically?
Oh, I thought it was the coolest thing. I still think it's super awesome, and I'm just so excited when I found out that this is happening. It's kind of like the first of something happening at State. I think a large part of our demographic is made up of Latinx and Chicanx people who consider themselves under those those titles, and there's not that much theater that kind of represents my family, that looks like my family. So I'm just so excited for my family to come out and, for my mom to be like, oh, that's me up there. I can relate to that moment, that dynamic, that, situation. And that gets me really excited.
Now, is it very common to find Latinx theater specialists in other universities across the country, or is this kind of a cutting-edge thing for Fresno State?
I consider it a cutting-edge thing for Fresno State, and I'm really happy that Fresno State took that initiative to do that, because they're really listening to the demographic that they're serving. For me, like for the moment that I arrived here, I felt like I immediately fit in. it has been incredible just how aware the students are of needing that connection to their heritage, to their culture, and seeing themselves represented on stage. And I am happy that I can contribute to that and be a part of it, because it's also, it's my culture as well. And I'm happy to have a place where my theater can be viewed and received by a population that can actually understand it and see the value of it. I'm very happy with that.
So do you think you'll be looking mostly at contemporary plays to do in the future? And is there a large body of work to choose from?
Absolutely. I mean, this country has been producing Latino theater since the 1960s. There's an incredible amount of playwrights, of published work that are out there, not just written here in the United States, but also all throughout Latin America that have been translated and that it's available to us. And also, you know, there's also the canon of Spain, Garcia Lorca and other Spanish writers that speak about our culture and what it means to represent Latino culture. And so, yeah, there's enough material for us to work with for many, many years to come.
Now, your first play, I mean, that's kind of a major thing right there. What made you pick Lydia to be your first title?
Well, it is my first play at Fresno State.
At Fresno State,
yes.
of course.
The reason why, well, I think Lydia is very significant in many, many ways, but one of the things that attract me to it in particular is that it has a lot of strong female characters, and that's important to me. Usually, it's hard to find plays that represent women so strongly, and we have three very strong characters in this play, the mom, the daughter, and Lydia, who are dealing with their own sense of identity, who are trying to navigate what it means to put their Mexican heritage and their American heritage together. And at the same time, they have strong wishes and desires for their lives, and they have the pressure of a society that tells them that they should behave in certain ways because they're women and stuff. And I think that's very valuable, not just for Latino culture, but for everybody. So this is a play that deals with universal themes about what it means to grow up, right? The protagonist is a young woman who's 16 years old. What it means to grow up and to accept who you are as a woman and be independent. And I think that not just Latinas, but everybody can relate to that.
Mm-hmm. So, Ruby, have you ever played the title character in a play before? And were you at all apprehensive about landing this role? I mean, does it feel like it's a big deal for you?
Yeah, no, I'm super honored and I'm excited, and I feel really blessed to be part of this process. No, I haven't, I guess, landed the title role. What I just think is so interesting about the show is, like, I get that, like, feedback from a lot of people. It's like, oh, you're playing Lydia, and Lydia, that's like a huge deal. And I think it's super awesome. But the story is just, every character in the story is so, like, prominent. Right. And just their interactions with each other. I feel like it's hard to say that Lydia would be like the main character.
So it's very much an ensemble.
It is.
Yeah.
It's an ensemble piece.
Yeah.
And how would you describe, we just have a little bit of time left, but what is your directing style? Is it a collaborative style? How do you approach that rehearsal process?
Oh, absolutely. It's a collaborative process. I'm there to guide my students, but my primary role is a professor also. So I am directing them, but I'm also trying to encourage them to find their own voices and to find their own artistic drive. That's the most important thing in the process.
Well, good. Yeah. So tell us, when is Lydia, when does it open, and where does it play?
You want to answer it?
March 16th through the 24th at the Woods Theater.
At the Woods Theater. So it's the smaller theater at Fresno State.
Yes, and performances are at 7 p.m. Every night except for Sunday, which is at 2 p.m.
Okay. Well, and it's a great space to see a show, a very intimate space.
Yeah, intimate.
So it sounds like a pretty intense and meaningful play, and so I'm sure being that close will make a difference as well.
Yes, it's intense, but it's incredibly poetic, very beautiful, and we have an incredible team of designers who have made an incredibly beautiful set for for us
Well,
to
great.
enjoy.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having
you.
us.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Lupe Perez to talk about the new public art just unveiled in downtown's Mariposa Plaza. Welcome back to the Munro Review. Next up, we welcome Lupe Perez, who is here to talk about the new public art just unveiled in downtown's Mariposa Plaza. Welcome, Lupe. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for the invite.
So this past week was actually a pretty big deal for Mariposa Plaza.
Yes.
It was the official unveiling of this new artwork. Tell us a little bit about it and what was the process? How did it get there?
Well, we received a grant several years ago from the National Endowment for the Arts to help invigorate that space and make it more of a placemaking site. And so part of the money that they provided through the grant was $150,000, and the city came in and matched some of the money. But we also had community partners that put money into it too. So it was a collaborative effort with local artists and others to go out and solicit a new art piece there.
So can you describe a little bit the actual project? There are
there's three panels.
And each of them has a little bench.
Yeah, the artist, Gordon Huther, who's the artist that we selected from Napa, he looked at the plaza itself and what it was called, and that's kind of where he got his vision for the artwork. Mariposa meaning butterfly in Spanish, and so he thought about the papel picado is where he got that idea from, and that was really his presentation to us when we interviewed him, and we liked that. And so he came up with that idea, but then he came to Fresno and actually met with some of the public to get their input as to what kind of pieces they wanted to see in there. And so he used those ideas to incorporate. That's why you see the vision of the valley, because we produce vegetables and what have you here. And then also the butterflies, meaning, for the plaza. And then it's an area that we have a lot of events and music events, so he used the musical theme to it.
And it's very colorful. And you
Yes.
mentioned the papel picado, and that's a direct reference to
The name of the art, which is
Right.
Atsidio
Right.
Picado. So.
And what else is planned then for that area? I know that this is sort of the first new thing
With
at
that
Mariposa
money,
Plaza.
yeah, with that money, we also were able to put together and get some input from the public to make that a more vibrant place to do events. And so we have a preliminary draft that we were able to put together of a new improvements. With that, it kind of jump-started it, and we're able to apply for more money through the state to redevelop it. We're looking at, we received $3.8 million, and we're looking at redoing the area, making it easier, putting shade in there, maybe shade structures, a new stage area for performing, plantings, trees, new furniture in there, just to kind of make it more vibrant. Whether or not you're having an event, you want to be able to feel comfortable in going in there and make it an inviting space to be.
So it sounds like it's really going to
we're excited.
get a nice facelift, I guess.
It actually was not part of the improvements that were done on the plot on Fulton. So, and nothing really has been done to that area since it was put in '64. So we're excited about that.
Well, thank you very much for coming down here and letting us know about it. It's a nice addition to Fulton Street, and I say that it's one of the best places now to take a selfie in
That's
downtown
what I'm
Fresno.
looking forward to.
I'm sure we'll
weddings.
see hundreds of thousands of them now. So.
And that was the purpose, make it interactive so people want to come down and see it. And so, good.
Well, thank you very much. So for our final segment, let's take a look at the list. Here's a selection of things to do during the busy month of March. Among them, the Rogue Festival is going strong. It opened Friday, March 2nd and continues through Sunday, March 10th. There are a multitude of acts you can attend in a number of venues in the Tower District neighborhood. Everything from locals trying their hands at performing to seasoned national actors who are veterans of the Fringe Festival circuit. Your best bet for an intro to the festival is to go to the website, FresnoRogueFestival.com. And you can go to MunroReview.com for extended coverage, including preview stories and reviews. Just remember, be adventurous. In terms of theater, an old Neil Simon comic favorite, The Star-Spangled Girl, is playing at the Second Space Theater. That goes through April 22nd. Also playing is a gripping new show at Fresno City College, The Whale, about a 600-pound man. That runs through March 10th. A new national tour of The Sound of Music makes a stop at the Soroyan Theater on March 15th and 14th. And in terms of advance excitement, I know people are pumped for the first local production of Mamma Mia, which opens March 22nd at Roger Rocca's Dinner Theater. A couple of classical music events to let you know about. Soli Deo Gloria, the all-women's choral ensemble that you've heard before on this program, performs March 23rd. And the Fresno Philharmonic next performs on March 18th in a program that includes Haydn Symphony No. 83. Finally, some exciting news to report about the Munro Review. I'll be unveiling a website redesign and a new voluntary membership and sponsorship structure soon. There's lots more to come about that. Well, that wraps it up for this month's episode of the Munro Review. Be sure to keep up online at MunroReview.com. A big thank you to our volunteer crew. And thanks again to our guests, Gina Sandi-Diaz, Ruby Arreguin, and Lupe Perez. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.